In 2017, the United Nations declared that June 27th is the day for micro, small, and medium enterprise. This day served to highlight the various enterprise and acknowledge their value in our community, their contribution, and their growth and sustainability. My name is Dania Maisonneuve, and welcome to the show. So here I am today with Stephanie Pete with Art and Dream Studio located in Vankleek and Élisabeth Arbaud from Café located in Chute-à-Blondeau. So today's goal will be to highlight the reality of local enterprise and their contribution to the sustainable development and the economy in our region with the SWOT analysis. So for those who don't know what the SWOT analysis is, it's a term used in the business world to highlight what the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats of the enterprise. So before we start, could you just explain us really quickly what your enterprise is and what you do?
Mm-hmm. So Art and Dream Studio is an art school in Vankleek, and I teach art lessons for all ages, beginning at age 4. I have day camps when there's PD days, when school is out, and over the whole summer.
All right.
So Café in Chute-à-Blondeau is a little kind of community cafe, very small, 26 seats inside, and 40 outside when it's sunny and not snowing.
Yeah.
And we also have, so we're a restaurant, we do breakfast and lunch. And then we also have a little boutique and a kind of dépanneur commerce, bit to the business.
All right. So if I start with my first question, what would you say your strength as a local business is?
Our main strength is that in our community there's not a lot. So especially in Chute-à-Blondeau, there hasn't been a business since I think for about 20 odd years.
Okay.
So it's really we're it.
Mm-hmm.
We're situated on the main road as well, which is quite a big strength. And diversity of our services is a very important strength as well.
Yeah. And what about you?
I thought about this idea, and I think it's my connection to the community.
Okay.
So as an art center, I'm meeting everyone in the family. You know, the kids are coming, parents are coming, their grandparents are coming for lessons. I get to know the kids really well, and I'm also working in the public schools as a supply teacher. So I'm seeing the kids throughout the community, and they get really excited to see me as their art teacher. I think that's one of my major strengths.
Yeah. And how would you say that your strengths help you to contribute to the sustainable development and the economy of our region?
So being sort of a trusted member in the community, I'm offering a place where youth can come, express themselves, to be creative. I know that that's one of the things that's been cited as important in sustainable cities is safe spaces for youth to come. I also offer new skills, so people are skill building and gaining transferable skills.
I think you also sent me earlier an article about how the arts is helping students to gain confidence in manual skills. Would you like to tell us more about that?
Sure. So that's an article I read right around when I started my business, and it gave me a lot of confidence in what I was doing and made me feel like I was on the right track with my business. So it was an article from about either 2015, 2018. There was two that I sent. It was a surgeon in the UK who was describing the current state with students coming to him to become surgeons, so medical students, and saying that this day and age they're very advanced with research skills, very good academically, but they just couldn't use their hands.
Yeah.
So they had no manual dexterity, they couldn't sew, they can't use scissors. And he actually said that's a failure in early education in terms of arts education in schools.
Yeah, for sure. And it's really something interesting because you don't necessarily think, oh, I'm going to make art because it's going to help me in my career. We don't think about that. So for sure, having space like your enterprise
it gives them a more diverse skill set.
Yes, exactly.
Possibly. And the other side of that too is that they're learning to think critically.
Okay, yeah.
And to think creatively. So it's another attribute that they'll need.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
opens their mind.
Opens their mind, and it gives them skills that they can take into different professions.
Yeah, for sure. And what about you?
So I would say we get the community together.
Okay.
So, and that's one of the reasons why we opened the cafe, is because, you know, we felt that the community was really wanting to get together and really wanting, you know, to see their neighbors, etc. But we've got people we know in the village and in the, you know, in the locality that basically have been there for years and they don't know one person.
Oh God.
So I felt that was quite sad, especially in a very small community. So that's one of the reasons why we opened the cafe, was, you know, for people to come in and, you know, sit down and chat. And it happens on a daily basis. You know, people pull the tables together and, you know, have a lovely chat, and people that haven't seen each other for years, you know, meet up. So, you know, and it really helps kind of get the community together. And people learn about other small businesses in the area. So I have a board in the cafe where I put, you know, pins with everybody's little cards, and, you know, so people can find out about who cuts trees or who does painting, or, you know, so it's, it keeps the community together, and it keeps small businesses active, which is very important.
I was going to ask you if you had a community board. Of course you do.
Of course I do.
Yeah, and surely with what you explained, the fact that you bring the community closer is probably going to help your community to grow bigger and help them to accomplish like your dreams or...
Yes, definitely, and I think it's very important. So, you know, people, you know, sell houses in our area. And before it was, you know, so what's around? Oh, yeah, absolutely nothing. And now we're actually listed on when people sell their houses as one of the points of interest, which is around, which, you know, I think is amazing. So somebody bought a house right opposite the cafe, and they went, oh my God, you guys are here. This is amazing. And somebody else who's selling their house said, if you guys had been here, we would have stayed.
Okay.
So, you know, so it's like, okay, yeah. So you really feel that it makes a huge difference in the community.
Oh, that's really nice. And what would you say your weaknesses are as a local enterprise?
I mean, when I first looked into getting a business loan, I thought, okay, there must be something, you know, Prescott Russell must have something. So I contacted the department that deals with businesses, and I said, oh, you know, do you guys give loans? Can you point me to anywhere? Oh, how long have you been in business? I'm like, well, I'm not. I'm going to be starting, you know, and I need to build the place, etc. Oh, yeah, we don't do that.
Oh God, but that's something important to help business start, because if you don't have anything, you cannot start. So
yeah, and if you don't know the region very well either, so I went, oh, okay. So, and I'm not somebody who gives up, so I found Liz, you know, who's in L'Orignal from the Prescott Russell, you know, business development, entrepreneurship, you know, etc. And she was amazing. She was so on the phone. She was brilliant, and she was like, "Oh, you know, anything I can do, and I'll put you in touch with so and so, and we have this program coming up, and you know, do you want to take part?" And I was like, "Yeah, that'd be amazing."
Yeah.
But you know, the first person I contacted, with, you know, they should have been put me in touch with Liz, which they didn't.
Right.
It was like, oh, you haven't been in business for a year, me not interested.
Okay. And would you say, like, for the resources, that it's an issue or it's a problematic?
I was surprised too. So I forget who I contacted. Again, there was someone sent me I think my landlord actually sent me a link to an Instagram post about money, like startup funds or business funds for art teachers.
Okay.
So it was so hard to pursue that, to find the person who had posted it. It was through some, you know, employment services. And when I finally got a hold of them, it wasn't at all what the ad sort of said. It was a loan, which I wasn't. I'm not prepared to look for a loan right now. So it was a roundabout way that I ended up hearing about the Startup Plus program that we were both in. And what I was going to say about that was, it's great that we did that. It was sort of training / business competition in a way. It was community building, but it was a competition because not everyone earned the grant. And it just felt like, I'm glad that I did it. It was a great program, but we kind of had to scrap it out for $5,000.
Okay.
You know, and it would be nice at some point if the township or the municipalities would say, look, you've been doing a good job for a couple of years with your business, you're serving the community, and that they would have funds for those businesses or some better resources for businesses in that situation.
Okay.
Yeah, and for help with promotion as well, you know. Like, so if we want a sign, a little sign for the cafe, we need to spend like $15,000, which obviously is not going to happen. I mean, now there's, I don't know if you know, but Eastern Ontario is RTO 9. Have you heard about RTO 9? So it's Regional Tourism Ontario, and Eastern Ontario has been named number 9.
Okay.
For whatever reason, you know, so that's fine. But they give grants for small businesses. So, and one of the grants is for signage. Okay. So we're going to apply through them. But again, you know, it's not like, oh, we need a sign because nobody sees us. You know, it's more, you need to fill in like 40 pages of, you know, some kind of proposal, and it's quite heavy. So, which I will do, you know, but it's, you know, all those things when you're managing, working, doing everything in your business, when do you have time to fill in 40 pages of something? You don't, you know, so.
And you need the skills.
Right,
we need to build those skills. And I feel like I love running a business for many, many reasons, but it's definitely a challenge. So I'm constantly building skills in social media, business administration, grant applications. I'm trying to run a good business. I'm trying to build my business in a way that's good for my clients. So we need to have all these skills and be able to prioritize, when do we fill out those 40-page applications? Which ones do we go for?
Yeah, and are you guys looking for some employer to help you with like the tasks so you have more time to do to help your company grow?
Yes, and actually, so when we did this grant program, just coincidentally, we were both in the same program. At our final discussion with the panel that rated us at the end, they kind of looked at my income and said, oh yeah, it's not quite enough to hire employees. And I said, no, not really. So you know, what benefits me is that I can hire teenagers as employees over the summer. They get their volunteer hours. So wonderful for me. And I think for the teenagers that they need those 40 hours in Ontario to graduate of volunteering. But also I've been looking for support in how to hire, because I know there's programs out there that will subsidize wages. But where are they, and who do I talk to about it? And then how do I manage employees? How do I register to have employees for, you know, tax payroll purposes and all of that? So I just found out that employment services can support us with that and how to get into having employees. So I'll be looking into that.
But again, it's not easy.
No. Especially probably in rural areas.
It's not easy. No, I mean, you know, finding employees, I haven't had any problems, but it's the whole managing the payroll and, you know, being able to file with Revenue Canada and, you know, they don't recognize your business number, and then you have to ask your accountant, so you need to fork out more money, and, you know, there's so many processes which are so difficult and which are so complicated, and nobody helps you with that at all.
So that's really like the main difficulty you
it's
guys are
huge.
Those things sap your energy, for sure.
100%. I mean, I get anxiety doing my accounts.
Okay.
I sit there and I'm like, oh my God. And then it tells you, you've got so many days. It has to be in by such and such a date. And then you get a reminder letter. And oh my God, you know, I'm trying to run a restaurant. You know, I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I don't go to bed till 10. Come on, people, you know. So it's, it's very challenging.
All right.
So the weakness is sort of closely tied to the strength, right?
Okay.
Because it's the strength, because it's a small community, you get to have strong bonds with the community. But because it's a small community, you have less clientele.
Yeah.
And you have to be very creative about how you get revenue in different ways.
Okay.
And how you find those clients. And I think just that the lack of, there's fewer people in the country.
Yeah, for sure. And you probably experienced the same weaknesses?
Yeah, I think it would be the same. And I mean, especially, you know, when you have a restaurant, it's quite seasonal as well. So we have a park, an entire park next to us.
Okay.
And obviously during the summer, it's, you know, full of people and, you know, holiday makers, etc. And obviously during the winter, it's going to be a lot quieter.
Okay.
So, you know, being in a small community has got its advantages and its disadvantages. So you have to get creative, which involves even more work and you know, social media and a lot of social media.
Yeah, for sure. And surely those weaknesses are not, I would say, helping you to help our development or the economy.
Right, because I mean, I'm a small business, and in a small community, it's hard to see how I could grow bigger, you know. So, especially, and as I was saying, I'm going to my 3rd year. So just continuing to make my costs isn't going to cut it.
Okay.
I need to find ways to earn more revenue. So I'm actually benefiting from the business and not just slugging away for the next 10 years. And like Elizabeth was saying, to kind of paraphrase a little bit, it can feel like you're swimming upstream, sort of paddling against the current, because things really do slow down in the winter, or you have to be very creative, and you're doing that, like you said, that's extra work.
Yeah, you do have to be very creative, you know, with everything you do to attract as many people as possible. You know, which is where, you know, some kind of support would be, you know, greatly appreciated. From, you know, from different areas. I feel it's very important for small businesses to help each other as well. Yeah. And sometimes it's difficult because you're kind of bogged down in your business and, you know, you're working so hard to develop it, etc., etc. So, you know, I think that it would be nice if in the region there was a, you know, for example, there's a chamber of commerce, but you have to pay to be part of it. Okay. So it would be nice if there was a free chamber of commerce, you know, where, you know, a group of businesses, you know, help each other out with their different skills or just, you know, promoting each other. You know, having, you know, a post once a week or a month about somebody else's business, you know, on your social media that the person sends to your, you know, something like that, you know, to help, you know, other businesses grow. I feel that's really important.
Yeah, well, that's surely an idea we could like discuss in more to see if there's a way for a local enterprise like both of yours to make something together to help each other. So that would probably be something interesting to see for the future. Yeah. So what are your greatest opportunities as a small business in your region?
So, well, I mean, I can think of a few, you know, we're just starting, so we've only been open for 3 months. Okay. But, you know, in terms of developing things, you know, I'd love to promote the small businesses around and have some kind of artisan market, you know, right in front of the cafe. Because we've got 2 streets that we could actually, I've thought about it all, we could actually take the traffic around, you know, so there wouldn't be any problems, and kind of cut the street off and, you know, be able to have an artisan market.
Okay.
There are a few in the region, but there's none in our community, and there hasn't ever been one in our community.
Okay.
So I think that would be amazing. As well, we do have quite a lot of older people in our community. So looking at doing, takeaway meals. We already, people can come in and take away our food, whichever, but having a fridge dedicated to take away meals, especially during the winter.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great idea, or even doing some kind of meals on wheels for the older people. I think that would be really nice for our community.
Yeah.
There are a lot of, opportunities, for development.
Yeah.
It's just, having the kind of time to look at those opportunities, but you kind of have to make the time, because there will be slow periods. I know, once winter, in kind of mid-September, I need to start winter.
Okay.
What's the plan? So in order to be able to go through that.
Yeah, and I think you've also mentioned to me that you were like the only enterprise in your region that is doing what you do.
That's correct. So we're the only little restaurants.
Okay.
We're not little, but we're the only restaurant in our area. There's a small patate in in Saint-Eugène, but they're very seasonal. So during the winter, they close completely. So there isn't a restaurant at all in our municipality. We're it, and that's a massive opportunity, because there's people know it's. Most people know it's open now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And what about you?
So definitely working more with schools is a
Okay.
huge opportunity for me, and but a daunting task in terms of planning, and as I was saying, juggling all of the other roles and hats that I wear as a business owner. It's something I'm slowly working my way into.
Okay.
So in my, to compensate for being a small business that's just making ends meet, I've been working in a local public school as a supply teacher.
Okay.
And just supply staff. I've been working as support staff with an art teacher who runs a dance program. So I was at 2 schools this year,
Okay.
Working in the high school and working in the public school. So that's my way to sort of begin to make those connections.
Yeah.
And then yes, that could be big, because I think the schools also they have their challenges being rural schools.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
need community partners and need artists to
Yeah.
come in. So I'd like to work more on that.
Yeah. And would you say when you started your business that there were a need for art enterprise in your region?
I have a few examples of that point. I
Okay.
had a community member, come into my art school when I first opened. I was the only one there. It was just during the day. And he said, he gave me $100.
Okay.
And he said, I don't want art lessons or anything. I'm just really glad that you're here.
Oh, that's really nice.
I'm going to cry.
It's okay. It's totally fine.
So that was amazing.
Yeah.
And then having parents say, we're so happy we found you.
Yeah.
And feeling like, wow, I was found, like my business is here,
Yeah.
and you've been looking for me, and here I am. So
Yeah.
that was really nice too.
So you were able to see the impact you had on your community, and I think that's something.
People
awesome.
have been very forthcoming
Yeah.
with gratitude, and happy that there's somewhere that they can bring their kids to do a different activity.
Yeah.
Something that wasn't there before.
So, what are your opportunities when it comes to contributing to the sustainable development of our community and the economic region?
Well, just to boost the economy, to attract people to the area.
Yeah.
I think that's very important, and obviously having somewhere where people can meet, can have some food. It is a place where people meet up.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot with the economy, definitely.
Okay. And
I've described my classes for my teens and my adults as social events.
Okay.
So again, I think both of us offer that, you know, a place to come to meet new people. It's
Yeah.
hard to do in the country. There's only a couple places to go. And then, you know, if people are coming into the art school, they already know that they have similar interests. So
Yeah.
they tend to hit it off right away.
Yeah, and it's really nice to see like how both of your enterprise are offering place for people to meet, because in the world we live today, there's a lot of individuality where people are more on their working on their things individually. So seeing that there's opportunities for community to like bring together, it's really awesome, I think. If we go for the threats now, what are the threats you meet with a local enterprise?
Well, I mean, the threats are kind of the weaknesses as well, I think, to be honest. So, you know, the fact that, you know, it's seasonal, the fact, you know, I mean, a threat could be as well that somebody opens, you know, a massive restaurant next to, so there's a petrol station which has decided to open not far from us, probably about 500 meters from us.
Okay.
And we're hoping they're not going to open a restaurant. So that, as I was saying to you, you know, there's been absolutely nothing in Chute-à-Blondeau for the past 20 years. And we open and then, all of a sudden somebody with a lot of money is opening a petrol station. And so we're just hoping that they're not putting a restaurant there, although obviously it will not be the same quality of food because we just do homemade stuff, and you know their coffee won't be as good because we have extremely good coffee from Vankleek.
It could work. Oh, perfect. Oh, right. Yeah, Totem Roasters probably, is it? Yeah. So that could actually work in your favor when people do come in and go to that restaurant and then they think, I wonder if there's any better coffee around here. 100%, and they go on the hunt, and obviously you're there. Yeah. We're talking about threats in a rural community. I think the fact that I fairly often, think about how my business would do in a more urban center is quite telling.
Yeah.
So I've even looked at different cities where I've lived in the past and thought about, you know, well, what if I move my business there, what would that look like?
Okay.
And instantly I know I would have more clients.
Okay.
Which means more money, right?
Yeah. So you probably, because the fact that you guys are both located in smaller cities, there's not as much as people who can come to your enterprise. And also, like, if we talk about also the transportation, we don't have like trains or buses that can help people to come to your community. So that's really like a threat to your enterprise.
Definitely.
Yeah. And how would you say that those threats are holding you back from contributing again to the sustainable development and the economy?
Yeah, sure. So if you know, if my business does not thrive, then obviously it cannot contribute to the economical development of the region.
Yeah, and if you don't have the support and the resources, it's not helping you either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not able to be the best business that I can be if I don't have the resources.
Yeah.
I think my business is awesome. And if I could kind of fulfill all my dreams of the business and deliver my services the best that I know that I can, if I could focus on delivering my services instead of focusing on, you know, being creative and to survive, then I would be contributing more to a sustainable economy because I have a good business and it just needs to be able to thrive.
Yeah. So for sure, like living in rural areas, it's not the easiest way to build an enterprise, surely. But I see you both have like beautiful enterprise and a beautiful vision for what you want to do. So it's really awesome to have more context about your reality and how like you're experiencing all of this. So I think this is concluding like our conversation. So I would like to thank you a lot for coming here today to talk to us. So we're gonna see you guys in the next episode.